NNPCL have said no going back on the removal of fuel subsidy. Good morning and welcome to the Dailies on Echo Television International. We will be keeping you updated with what is happening on the papers. A lot of stories that are quite of interest are on the papers this morning, so we will beg your indulgence to please sit back as we take you through what is happening on the papers this morning. Rachel Tanzi is here with me. Good morning, Rachel.
Morning,
how you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And I am Sada Elisha Dasham, and we are live on Facebook and in YouTube. You can drop your comments and your thoughts on stories that are of interest to you this morning. And we shall quickly run through the papers, starting with the first newspaper.
On First News newspaper, Tinubu orders security agencies to crush oil thieves. Subsidy removal reps give Tinubu new conditions. AFCC grills fire me over 4 billion naira money laundering. Pandev asks federal government not to shift ground on petrol subsidy removal. And the big story on First News, no going back on fuel subsidy removal coming from NNPCL. Price will come down. Tinubu will fix one refinery before December, carries assuring Nigerians. Says 2023 subsidy only on paper, non-existent as protest breaks out in Edo State. Still on First News, U.S. President Joe Biden falls during the graduation ceremony at the United States Air Force Academy just north of Colorado Springs in El Paso County, Colorado on June 1st, 2023. That was yesterday, and we have a picture story showing that. No plan to protest fuel subsidy removal for now coming from NLC, as Northern Coalition knocks NLC over slow reaction. Fuel subsidy still not a good start, Northern elders tell Tinubu. Walking at cross purpose won't be allowed, Tinubu tells service chiefs. Naira devaluation, we stand by our story. Daily Trust replies CBN as Apex Bank denies action. AFCC grills fire me over 4 billion naira money laundering, and that's all the news on First News newspaper.
On Friday Leadership newspaper, no going back on fuel subsidy removal. NNPCL declares with the rider, says no backup cash for subsidy payment in June. And then we have CSO condemn the upfront removal. President has ordered palliative to caution the effect coming from Kerry. Tinubu orders security chiefs to deal with oil thieves. In his very first official engagement with country security and intelligence formation on assumption of office, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered security chiefs to deal ruthlessly with oil thieves. Categorically, Tinubu said he will not tolerate the menace. You can find detail of that story on page 7 of the Friday Leadership newspaper. And we have IGP promotes 31,465 inspectors and others. African Development Bank to provide funding for Nigeria and 4 others to deepen LPG market. And then we have Ipman mourns their communication founder Raymond Topiski. You can find that story on page 10. And we have on what is trending, Tinubu orders security chiefs to crush oil thieves. And on the numbers, prices of imported used cars spiked by 100%. You can find detail of those both stories on page 2. And that's all on Friday Leadership.
On Vanguard newspaper, independent marketers protest implementation of fuel price hike. You can find the details on page 19. I was forced to sign presidential poll result in Kogi, Atiku's witness tells court. We haven't devalued Naira coming from CBN. Tinubu misinformed on 10th National Assembly leadership assault as President meets Lawan and Bajabiamila. You can find the details on page 10. And on Presidential Tribunal, Obi tenders result of 6 states, 115 local government areas in evidence. Cost of governance, we don't need Senate, House of Representatives coming from Shekaro. You can find the details on page 8. And the big story on the Vanguard newspaper, new players will make petrol price come down. This is on subsidy, and a statement still coming from Kyari. The writer following that says subsidy removal will aid competition and kill monopoly. Notes NNPCL cannot handle more than 30% of the market. As palliative coming soon, as Amnesty International warns against increased poverty in Nigeria. Wants federal government to mitigate effects of subsidy. You can find the details on page 5. 1,872 killed, 714 abducted in Nigeria between January to April 2023. A report you can find on page 7. Custom targets $200 billion in fresh PPP. Crush oil thieves, other felons, Tinubu, other security agencies says I will change security architecture soon. The details can be found on page 27. Peter Onahura, for burial June 7. We have a column on page 17 for away Lakemfa. And we have our sports column on AFCON qualifier. Super Eagles to train in Lagos for Sierra Leone. The details can be found on page 31. And we have a picture story that shows Tinubu's mid-security chiefs. And that's all the news on Vanguard newspaper.
Before we move to the next paper, Richard, I think it is important we talk about first subsidy, where we have NNPCL saying that they are not, there's no going back on the removal of the first subsidy. And I was opportune to listen to the interview that was, while the Kyari was actually talking, and categorically he said that NNPCL do not have more than 30% of the oil. And just like we saw from the writers on the Vanguard, where it was saying that about this will bring about, competition in the market. Hopefully that will, make other, will I see, marketers to get into the market, because that is the essence to bring competition. He also said the fact that questions were being asked, such as the fact that why can't we have a flat price for the petrol, because if you check from yesterday on the papers, we saw that for every zone the prices are quite different. And he stated the reason why we have this difference in prices is because of logistics and location, because transporting this oil from one part of the country to another part will cause, talking about the taxis, talking about overhead bills and all of that. So that is what makes the prices different. So we can see that Lagos happens to be the state that has the lowest, because they are closer to the refineries there. So it's easier to just pick it from the refinery and then have it in the fuel station. But then imagine from the refinery down to places like Yobe and Brno, which is actually at the northeast, quite far. And you could even say even the northeast, there is a difference. For somebody who is in Bauchi, which is also the northeast, the price is not the same with someone who is at the extreme end, which is somewhere like Yobe and Brno. And that was why the prices are different. And even questions came up, because these are questions Nigerians are asking. The promise that Nigerians received from the former president was the fact that the first subsidy was going to start from July, because they had paid till June. But then why are we having these prices coming up before even the July? And they said that these prices are just on the paper. The subsidy is on paper, because the federal government is actually owing the NNPCL about a good sum of money from 2022. And so if they are unable to pay that, NNPC also need to pay their tax, they need to pay a lot of things, their loyalties and the likes of it. And so that's why we can see these prices, they had to hike the price of the fuel from June. And so Nigerians have to bear this burden for the meantime. But we just hope that the NNPC, and even what they are hoping, that this will bring competition, and then hopefully the prices will drop, because they said this prices is being they came about this price based on how much they buy the oil from the market, because they also have to buy it. So there is a figure that is there, that is what actually bring about all of these prices we are seeing. So we are hoping that, of course, for somebody who is not deep into business and all of this will be kind of a lot of calculation for you to wrap your head around. But just for a normal layman to understand is the fact that the distance is actually what makes these prices to be different. So we hope that from what the marketers will buy it in the market and selling it to us, the commoners. We hope that this will go a long way. I mean, the competition should be able to drop the prices. And then for the layman, all he or she wants to know is that how much am I going to get my foodstuff in the market? How much am I going to transport myself? Because we already see that right now, the trending thing on social media right now is trekking. I mean, I've seen a lot of pictures that crack me up real good, you know, people saying that. I think I saw a slogan that say, you know, far you go reach soon, you know, and the likes of that. So that is just a way of Nigerians actually, you know, Nigerians have a way of making, like say, a joke out of serious matters. But I just hope that this will not make the government to be reluctant. I hope that this will just be for a very short time, that the government should look into something. And I am concerned about the palliative that they say will be used to cushion this effect. Rachel, we are in this country where we have seen administration come and go, and then this palliative, only few people get to benefit from it. And you ask, how did they come about giving this palliative? Who is qualified for the palliative? Because as far as I'm concerned, everybody is qualified for this palliative, Rachel. Everybody is qualified for this. So we do not know how this government intends to share this palliative, but I hope that everybody will be able to get. That is just it. I just hope that everybody will be able to get, especially those who seriously need it. We don't want to hear that based on religion or based on tribe, that is how this thing will be shared. Everybody should actually get this palliative because everybody is affected in one way or the other. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed concerning the removal of the fuel subsidy, and we hope that the government will do the right thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure, Stella. Wherever in an economy where there is no monopoly and there is competition between marketers, that is in supply and distribution, there is that tendency for sure that the price of that commodity will go low, especially if it is a highly consumed products such as the petroleum. So yes, we are looking forward to these prices of fuel coming down, and within a very short period of time we are hoping to see that yes, it will go down. However, one of the promise, because Kerry kept on assuring us, and one of the promise we saw in the previous paper is the fact that he said that the president said we would have another refinery running by December. And these are some of the things that concerned me, because it is important that we do have more refineries in the country. That is one of the ways for sure we can have fuel prices come down to a level where we can say the prices are okay, because I keep saying that there are a lot of factors in play when it comes to whatever we buy. We are having our naira losing its value, and then and we are still buying this refined petrol back into the country. Now, as long as we still have that factor on the other side, no matter the competition, it might be low, but not low good enough for us to say that fuel pump prices are okay. It might come down, but not significantly enough for Nigerians to feel the impact and say yes, fuel pump prices are down, because whether we like it or not, these marketers are buying it at a dollar rate, which our naira keeps devaluing. So whether we like it or not, these are some factors that will affect the prices of fuel. So aside from that, having our own like oil refined in the country will go a long way to helping the price of this petrol going down. So this is one of the major things. Aside from the competition, this is one of the major things that if the government truly have Nigeria at heart to make sure that this petrol hike in price goes low, and they have us in mind that they don't want this hardship to last for long, is to make sure that we have not only the Dangote refinery, but that we go full force in making sure that other refineries, so that we will have a situation whereby every oil we consume, be it the diesel, be it the jet fuel, be it kerosene, be it everything that we need for our consumption, that we have refineries in the country that are meeting our daily need of that. For when it comes to petrol, we need 38 million liters every day. Once we have refineries within our shores that are meeting up our own daily consumption, then we will be able to see a significant amount of drop in oil price. However, for the competition, there will be, but I don't think it will be as significant as us producing what we consume in the country. And that's the one that I am looking forward to seeing the government being serious about it. That is the way that I will know truly we have an administration that is concerned about the welfare of Nigerians and for sure don't want this hardship to last for long.
Yeah. So we all look forward to seeing the government doing something about fixing our refineries. I mean, even though we've heard where the Kyari is saying that the president will fix at least one refinery, but we are hoping he fixes more than just one. We have a lot of refineries lying around just idle, and then we are hoping that it will be revived so that we can actually, you know, do something. I mean, apart from the fact that we'll be buying the fuel on a cheaper price if it is being refined in the country, think about the graduates who have to go to school to study petrochemical engineering, and then at the end of the day, you don't even have anything to practicalize what you've been taught in school. So you can imagine what that would do. It would be, it will create job opportunity for youth out there. And then I think that it will go a long way to also, you know, put us on that map for us to keep maintaining our name as being the giant of Africa. So we look forward to seeing the government doing just that. Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. 11 years after occupying Nigeria, Tinubu tolls painful path to economic rebirth. We can see the picture story here on the petrol subsidy removal, and then with some youths all around holding occupying Nigeria. So you can read more of that big story on page 4 and 5. NLC debunks strike action, unveils position today after consultation. We could remember they had a meeting 2 days back with the federal government that ended in a deadlock, and then we're seeing that today they will continue. So they will unveil their position after consultation today widely. We hope that whatever step they will take will be for the good of Nigeria and not to crumble down the economy of Nigeria. Still on the Guardian newspaper, Tinubu made intelligence security chiefs give mandate to tackle insecurity. Nigerians' business conditions, confidence in economy level hit 5-month high. Tinubu meets Lawan Bajabian Miller over National Assembly leadership. Enugu court remand 52 pro-Biafra agitators in prison. You can find that on page 27, and that's all of the Guardian newspaper.
On the Matrix newspaper, EFCC grills Fayemi over alleged misappropriation of 4 billion naira. We have fuel subsidy removal, NLC debunks strike rumors, and we can find the details on page 8. And concerning NLC, we saw in the paper where another group is saying they are too slow in their reaction. And I don't know what reactions Nigerians want from NLC, but it will also be inappropriate of them to take any harsh decision now. We are just at the beginning and the start of fuel subsidy removal, and the government have promised us a lot of things, and they say they know what they're doing. It's left for us to watch and see, because any other drastic measures that NLC would take might not be right for the country as it is now. What do you want them to do? To tell workers to go on strike, or to tell offices to close, or what actions do you expect them to do? And because one of the things is that they need to have a meeting, and I feel the way that the NLC should step in, of course, is in this palliative issue. It is a lot of money. $800 million is a lot of money, and if the government should be transparent and fair in disbursing this fund for the period of time where, as they are working at the background to see that the oil price goes low, if this money should be disbursed properly, openly, and accountably in a way that everybody can see it, then we will be able to say, okay, you know what, the NLC have stepped in and have made sure that this palliative didn't go to the pockets of other people, but to Nigerians. So I believe, for me personally, I think that the NLC should take their time in whatever reaction it is. They shouldn't come to a harsh conclusion, oh, because I know Nigerians are angry and nobody is happy. Just for the past 3 days, nobody is finding it easy when it comes to the standard of living in the country as it is. But I believe it is also not in the position, it is not wise for the NLC to take any drastic that drastic decision concerning what they want to do. They should take their time, survey the situation, hear from the government how long will this take, give us your word, then we hold you by those words when you are not delivering as you have told us you will to Nigerians and every other person.
Of course.
Yeah, you can find the details on page 8. Angry Madrid fans mock Chukwueze. You can find the details for our sports lover on page 18. Subsidy removal fallout, Kyari provides update, says fell queues to disappear within 2 days. We're looking forward to see that happening. And the big story on the Matrix newspaper, insecurity, Tinubu talks tough. One security chiefs against working at cross purposes. Mandates security agencies to come up with a blueprint for tackling insecurity. Prioritizes welfare of troops. You can find the details on page 2. At maiden meeting, Tinubu reads riot act to service chiefs. Tribunal berates Obi Labour Party over unpreparedness. Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio rose from 6% to 10.86% in 2021. This is a report coming from the FIRS. You can find the details on page 14. At the downside of the paper, CBN refutes claims of Naira devaluation, says $1 to 468 Naira remains. And let's not forget that we have a double years exchange rate. That's what Nigerians don't understand. And they need to know that every time I check the exchange rate, what Nigerians don't know is that in the official CBN exchange rate, our dollar has never been above 545 Naira all these years. I know it went from 400 thereabout, but it goes down sometimes, but it has never been above $545 even with all. But what we have is the black market exchange rate, and is it the black market exchange rate that we are having it up to 700 and up to 900 last year. We saw that, because the thing is that now when you want to make any purchase online, it is not the black market rate. This only happens when it comes to import and export for some specific commodity. But seller today, if you want to make a purchase online, if you want to make any, be it an e-commerce store, or you want to pay for a subscription of a software that is owned by an international country, the exchange rate has always been, for me personally, I know the below 500. The most I have paid was there about 420 something Naira. I've never even paid 465 Naira to a dollar when it comes to the standard of CBN, or when it comes to international transactions. So I think this is one of the economic policy that the current president Tinubu have made sure that we are going to have a singular exchange rate, because the official CBN, even when you go to the banks, you will see the banks will say we are buying dollar at, let's say, 530 and we are selling at 535, for example. I've seen that in our banks. So let Nigerians know that the challenge we are having is there is no single exchange rate in Nigeria. We are having double exchange rate as it is, and is one of the things that the president have promised us, to make sure that we have a single exchange rate in the country.
Okay,
we have a picture story on the Matrix newspaper. President Bola Tinubu at the center with Nigeria's service chiefs and heads of intelligence agencies at the State House in Abuja on June 1st, 2023. And that's all the news on the Matrix newspaper.
Richard, the story that is of interest to me more on the paper is this insecurity, and the last right that I say prioritizing the welfare of our troops. Yesterday we saw in the paper where they said civil servants and reason why their May salaries will be delayed because of one or two issues coming from the MDAs. And on the same paper, we saw that there's already an issue where the MDAs have actually, there is an issue with about a huge amount of money which they are yet to, the money has been given, but somehow, somewhere, somebody somewhere, things were just happening there. And this is a lot of questions that we really have to prioritize the welfare of our troops. It breaks my heart when you begin to have interaction with some of our security agencies, and they tell you that, Richard, even the uniform they are wearing, they personally use their money to actually sew the uniform. This is something that they are supposed to be given by the government.
Yeah.
It have gotten to the point that if you get to discuss with some of the security agency, you hear a lot of things that it's not supposed to be heard, that they have to use their money to actually purchase for it. So this will now bring your attention then what is the problem? The money that is being always being given either for their welfare or for their outfit or for cars and bullets on their guns and all of that. What is the problem? What is happening? We still have the case of ammunition from the police where up to now, no account have been given. I've been following keenly and I've not heard any report coming up whether they have found those missing ammunition or who was the people or who were the people rather that were in charge or were on duty and how this thing got missing till date. Nobody has said anything. And it seems the story have been swept under the carpet. Yeah, these are issues we're talking about. We're still having the issue of the number of insecurity that is increasing on a daily basis. And sometimes when you even get to hear about either, I think it was the last year where we saw that, even for some of this Boko Haram, they are working with top officials from the military, from the police, and you ask the question, why will we have a security agency? No wonder when we hear our troops are actually going somewhere, they are being, overpowered by those other, either the headers or whoever is it that they go. Why? Is it because we have snitches even coming from our security agency that tip them this is what is happening. So we have to go a very long way to take care of our troop members, to make sure that they are well taken care of. Of course, we saw in the papers where about the money that will be given to our National House of Assembly members. Already we are seeing Shekare saying that we do not need the money, the cost of governance. And yesterday you and I were saying, I think it will go a long way when we cut the cost of governance between the people and the and the House of Representatives. Some of the allowances maybe it's not actually necessary. You can slash it into two. You hear about 100 billion being spent on just cutlery, and you ask, seriously? Seriously? So I just hope that if we really want Nigeria to get to that point, we really have to sit and take tough, measures. It might not sit well with everybody, but if we want to see Nigeria being that great country, we have to take those steps. And maybe those steps are part of the fuel subsidy removal. It might not be right as it is presently, or Nigerians might not really feel its impact, because it will make sense to any common man if you're telling him it's for your good. But then I hope that at the long run, we'll all sit back and smile knowing that, okay, yes, the step in the beginning wasn't really right, but then we are seeing that something is going well. So I am hoping that this insecurity is not just all about having meetings. We've seen it happen over and over, where the former president held meeting with our security, with the serving chiefs. Some of them were being sacked because we're not seeing results. But then I hope that this meeting will be a meeting with a different. I just hope we'll see something different. Let us see that, yes, Nigerians can feel the impact that our security agency are truly working. So we hope that they really take care of their welfare, because this will help them to actually carry out their responsibility as needed to be.
Of course, nothing validates our force men, be it police, military, collecting money on the road. That's bribe. There was once a time that was a peak of it for policemen. It became a habit that they were recognized with all over the country some years back, and then drastic measures were taken, and it's now down to the minimum, but it doesn't mean it has been completely gone. No, it's still there, and it's no excuse. There's nothing that validates them doing that, but over the years they've been having poor welfare. It will break your heart if you go to the barracks and see their living conditions. This is something that is not hearsay. It's something you can see for yourself and know. When you see how old these buildings are, when you see how congested these buildings are, when you see how no renovation has been done in the past 30 or ever since that building was made, you just
I think we saw a building that
collapsed. Yes, I mean, of course, in Lagos we saw that also, and this is just but a few of many cases all across Nigeria, and this is just a proof to tell you, if a house is not being taken care of, what more of uniform? Your living environment is more important compared to what you wear. I'm not trying to put anyone, but yes, of course, where I live, where I eat, where I sleep and wake up should be well taken care of more than what I wear. If that can't be taken care of, talk more of uniform. That's even the littlest when it comes to welfare. And you will see that these houses are not even taken care of, and it's just sad, Sally, on so many levels. And I just pray and I hope that truly Tinubu's administration will look into the welfare of our military agencies, our police forces, and make sure that they are taken care of. That money should be put into building better housing facilities from them, that when you go into a barracks you should be able to say that these are people who are well taken care of, their living environment is good, and their standard of living is well taken care of. Then we as Nigerians can be able to boldly caution or say we are not giving any policeman. We'll be able to, I don't know how to put it, Sele, but there are things that we will not even condone.
Because
yes,
we
will keep
right,
because exactly, that's just what I'm trying to say. So we're just looking forward to that kind of system and environment for us as Nigerians at the mercy of this police, because when you see some of the brutality, you know it's coming from a frustration angle. Let me put it like that. When you see some of the things they do, you just know that this is coming as an effect of something. We're not giving excuses for whatever bad experience, but we cannot neglect or turn our eyes from the truth and certain factors that affect certain things directly or indirectly.
Of course. So we look forward to that. You know, when you were talking, I remember my own experience, but I just hope that at the long run, they truly, their welfare will be taken care of. Well, before we continue with the paper analysis, we'd love to take a break at this moment so we can open the phone lines and let us hear what your thoughts are concerning stories on the paper this morning. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying tuned. It's still the Dailies on Network Television International. We've been looking at quite a number of interesting stories on the paper. We've seen that the president have met with the survey chiefs and also said that he's not going to take any excuse whatsoever. They have to tackle insecurity, oil, bulkery, left, right, and center, amidst many other things that regards to insecurity. Also, we have seen that NNPCL have said they are not going back on the removal of the fuel subsidy, and then we are hoping to see the palliative that the government is hoping to give to Nigerians to actually caution the effect of this hardship of the high prices of fuel in the country. I am Sarah Elisha, and I still have Rachel here with me. Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome, Sarah.
All right, our phone numbers are displayed on your screen right now. They are open for you to actually air your thoughts and stories are of interest to you this morning. Please do remember to turn down the volume of your TV set when you call us, because we truly want to have, we want to hear what you have to say, and other viewers also would love to hear from you. And let's remember to be very, very civil with our language when we call on the show. Thank you so much. Let's continue with the paper review, and I'll be taking the New Telegraph newspaper. Coming from Kiari, Tinubu will fix wine refinery before December. You can find detail of that story on the front page, and then you continue reading that story inside the paper. And the first quarter of 2023, pension funds in infrastructure rose by 8.85% to 123.36 billion naira. You can find detail on page 8. Crush oil thieves Tinubu orders military set to reform security architecture. You can find on page 3. And on insecurity, stop flaunting wealth, maintain low profile. Hello, good morning, sir. Morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Rachel.
Morning. She can hear you, Rachel.
Okay, Mrs. Sele, I want to take you on the subsidy renewal.
All right, sir.
Yeah, you've been able to enlighten us that yes, it may seem difficult now, but in the long run, that everything will turn out well. My question is that how does the ordinary man survive the long run? As we speak, 133.3 million Nigerians are below the poverty line, multi-dimensional poverty line.
True.
Mrs. Sele, how do they survive this long run? Is there no way we can be able to do this thing imperative by doing the needful?
There is.
Doing the needful now is that we knew that the subsidy has been a sword of Damocles on our economy. What was the preparation of the government yesterday before today? This removal would have been done in 2012, but the same character that are today forcing it on our were the one who went to the street. Now where do we suffer from the subsidy? Because we have to depend on importation. What has the government done now in order to be able to restore the refineries? They knew that this is very necessary. Why didn't they prepare? Must the blood of the ordinary man be used to build our economy? Now they are removing the economy. They are removing the subsidy. If you look at it now, the prices has gone by more than 200%. In a civilized country, they will automatically jack up the minimum wage by that 200%. Because when you now suffer the people, you're encouraging stealing. We pay people with just 45,000. And a 45,000 cannot fill your tank. How do they survive? As we speak, those of us who live around Buhari, to go to Bega is 1,000. And your office is not in Bega, you still need to take another trip to another place. 3,000 per day for your work. Is this government people's friendly? They are never people friendly. Now, who have interrogated the total daily consumption of fuel by NNPC? This has been challenged in many areas. Don't we need to have work on those areas before we remove the subsidy? We cannot keep on pushing. In December 2015, they told us that they have removed the subsidy. And then if they have removed subsidy, as they are saying now, why still regulating it? Why would the NNPC have a say on what individual? If you see Mrs. Sele, you see that kerosene has already been deregulated. NNPC does not fix price. Gas has been deregulated. NNPC did not fix price. So why are they telling us they have a removed subsidy with me deregulation and that they are still fixing prices? The difference in price between Abuja and Kano is only 3 naira. What kind of business? Who will carry the truck to Kano and sell at just 3 naira difference? So we need the remover. But let the needful be done before the remover. Having said that, let me end up with the issue of Forex. You see that in Forex, there has been a lot of things in it. At a time, sometime last year, they said they arrested the Aboki Forex, who is manipulating this thing. So what has happened to that case? Our problem is that we are being made to suffer. Corruption thrive in the oil sector. So we want them to do the needful before this thing. Even if they can wait for Dangote, it's better. Thank you, and do have a great. God bless our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sam from Bari. Mr. Sam really asked some very relevant questions, especially in regard to the first subsidy removal. He said, of course, Nigerians have always wanted the first subsidy to be removed. But the question is, what preparation did the government make before removing the first subsidy? You can't just wake up one morning and just say, we are removing it, and then Nigerians cannot even feel the fact that, okay, this government actually prepared and we are not really feeling the impact, and it's there. And he was of the opinion, he said the same people who this first subsidy was supposed to remove since 2012 were the same people who came up protesting, saying no, 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 and then these are the same people right now that have actually removed it. So we have to really think about it very well. He mentioned the fact that people are finding it very difficult. Of course, you and I, where first-hand weaknesses too. How hard is it for you to actually get from your home to your place of duty? And of course, you have to be there early. So we just hope that the government will take that into cognizance, when taking certain, decisions on behalf of the entire public. That a lot of people are suffering. I mean, he gave the statistic. We have over 133 million Nigerians that are living below the poverty line. So you know what that means, Rachel? You and I here were calculating, where he said that if you are not earning up to 300,000 in a year, forget it, we are poor. Of course, so that means more than even the entire nation, how many people can actually brag and say, I can actually have that amount in my account yearly? So I just hope that the government truly, of course, yes, Nigerians want it to be removed, but then let us see that the right steps are actually taken. Now they have already taken it down. What are you planning to do for the people? I think that is the question Mr. Sam is asking, and I hope the government have a very good answer for the people, because this is a question that many Nigerians are actually, asking. Still a New Telegraph newspaper on internal security, we see IGP promotes 31,465 offices. You can find detail of that on page 4 and 5. While federal government fiscal deficit position rose to 6.2% in 2022. This is coming from the CBN. The big story, which is on subsidy, reps won 413 billion naira borrowed from CBN audited. Asked the federal government to suspend direct sales, direct purchase contracts. APC, all right, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, are you hearing me, ma?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Hello, ma. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I'm watching the television and I heard your as regard to these security issues. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, ma.
I can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of your colleagues there made mention of the police, the paramilitary.
So I am listening to
the
your
police
TV
and
set.
the military, but she forgot to even mention the paramilitaries.
Hello, sir. Please, all right. Please, to our callers, turn down the volume of the TV set, because if not, you won't really know if I am getting you or not. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. But I think from the last call we had, he was trying to make a very relevant, contribution. I hope he calls back to complete that statement, mentioning the fact of, when we're talking about insecurity, and then we're mentioning various aspects of the security bodies that are actually, should be well taken care of. And he said we forgot the paramilitary.
Yeah.
Of course, they are important. You need to take care of them, because they also contribute to taking care of life protection. So we hope that everything that is needed to be done will be done. Still a New Telegraph newspaper. I was looking at the big story, which is on subsidy. Reps won 430 billion naira. All right, we have a call. All right, good morning, sir. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Hello?
Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
I turn down the volume of my radio.
Of your TV, yes.
Hello?
Please mute it, please, sir.
Hello?
Have you muted your TV set, sir? Please, to our callers, it's very difficult to actually hear you when you are still listening to your TV set. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. Just pick your remote and, press mute. Just mute the volume. When we are done, you can actually put the volume back. Please. Thank you so much. And then looking at the big story, subsidy. Reps won 413 billion naira borrowed from CBN audited. Asked the federal government to suspend direct sales and direct purchase contracts. APC summoned NNPCL CEO. And we have Northern Women, Miati Allah, and others seek NLC's action. Subsidy captured in current budget coming from Labour, because Mkiari said that mostly the budget is for looking at the first subsidy is not really captured on the budget, so and none of that. But Labour is saying that the subsidy was actually captured in the current budget. So you can do well to read that. Subsidy removal ill-timed. Okay, we have another call. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that call. Subsidy removal ill time ploy to improvise Nigerians coming from the Middle Belt Forum. You can read all of that story on page 2, 3, 8, and 26. Reps probe Nigerian air project summon permanent secretary. Clear NIMASA over $700 billion sabotage fund disbursement. Urge the federal government to declare state of emergency on drug abuse.
I had one of your colleagues there mentioning military and the police in time of their welfare or whatever. You know, we seem to forget about the paramilitary. You know, paramilitary are part of the security. If you look at what is going on, we have the joint task force that comprises the civil defense, the immigration, and the armed squad from the prisons. You know, there's this joint task force together to tackle this insecurity. But recently, the outgoing president, I think he improved the salaries of the police, of which we, the paramilitary, up to today, that is the prison, immigration, civil defense, fire service, and and the like, we are still lacking behind. We cannot even feed our family, not to talk of even buying those uniforms you made mention. You know, so we are facing difficulties. They have been giving us rumors. They are going to do the harmonization. I don't know whether you heard about the harmonization of the team. They have done it for police. They are living better now. Confirm this information I'm giving to you, but we have been neglected. So how do we put in our skills in order to tackle all those things? So that is why you see some of these paramilitaries are relaxed. You know, they are being fed up. Their home is being dashed out. So I thank you for the good work you are doing in EQUA. So you can help us and talk to the government to know that all these paramilitaries are working towards that is curbing this insecurity in the country. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. The other lady there. May God continue to give you more wisdom to do your work as expected. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's a very relevant point, Richard. Yes. It seems we always forget the paramilitary when it comes to the welfare. And he mentioned maybe that's why we're not seeing proactive measures coming from there. But we hope that the government will please pay attention, in as much as we I think we seem to be putting the the security agency more on the front line more than the paramilitary. I hope something will be done for them as well, so they can actually carry out their responsibility as expected.
So, so much work needs to be done in Nigeria.
Of course. The
more we see the happenings, the more we have our callers calling. You just realize that there's so much work that needs to be done, and it has just been as a result of laxity. Even though some things should have been functioning by themselves now, if only the right things were put in place, because I believe there's a level of growth that when you get to, you wouldn't need that much support. Things will start to automatically run by itself, and I feel that's what our government have neglected in the past years. And I hope that we have an administration that will put the ball rolling, and then things will start moving on their own, and these agencies will not have to struggle, but would have a system that is working for them, regardless whether they have a direct intervention from the government or not, because there's so much work that needs to be done.
Of course. Let me round up on New Telegraph newspaper. We have electricity tariffs skyrocketed by 500% under Buhari administration. Coming from the NCPN, you can find that story on page 8. We are currently reviewing our licensing categories. Coming from NCC, maritime workers begin strike on Monday. I just hope something will be done about that. It seems to have one sector after another going on strike. We hope all will go well. You can read that story on page 5 and 8. Lawan to Tinubu, we must contain the 10th National Assembly leadership crisis. There's fire on the mountain, coming from a source. National Assembly leadership of national interest, coming from Tinubu. We will bring okay, let me think I can get that story clearly. Atiku weaknesses to tribunal. We were forced to sign presidential poll result sheets. And then we have the writer that says, stop wasting our time. PEPC tells OB, that's from the Labour Party. You can find more of that story on page 29. And downside, we have a study that says quitting smoking can improve mental health. we tend to be having a lot of things you can do to actually improve your mental health. Yesterday we saw that lack of sleep is as a result of, mental problems. So we hope everybody gets to read this, especially those who are in the habit of smoking, to see how that can affect their mental health. You can read more of that story on page 26. Picture story here, we can see the Lagos State Governor with other investors. So you can do well, grab the New Telegraph and read details of stories of interest to you. And I think we're actually out of time. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Thanks to our callers calling this morning to air their views that were very, very great on the show today. Thank you to our crew members and everybody that was part of the program this morning. Until we come here again, do have a blessed weekend ahead.